Get ready for Hosts at Home. Today, the legend of the famed host of the cult classic Nickelodeon game show, Legends of the Hidden Temple. Kirk Fogg is on the show. And now, here's your host, who interviews the hosts, Adam Wurtzel.
Thanks, Richard Malmus. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Hosts at Home. We're back. You're back. We're glad you're here. Of course, this is the show where we chat with some amazing hosts of your favorite TV shows, past and present. Now, if you grew up when I did, then you probably wanted to run through a hidden temple that was actually in Orlando to win a trip to space camp. And the denim-clad host who hosted that legendary Legends of the Hidden Temple is here today on Hosts at Home. Kirk Fogg, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Adam.
It's very nice to see you. Can I just say, before we start, that the last episode of Legends of the Hidden Temple was 1995. How is it that you look like you just stepped off the set?
Well, you know, first of all, I get up in the morning and I make sure that my hair is on. So if I get that on, once I get the hair on, I'm good.
Can you tell everybody where is home for you?
I live in Studio City, California. I've always loved the name Studio City, California. Who doesn't want to live in Studio City, California?
That's the home of the Big Brother house, CBS Radford.
Oh, I know, because I was living in Studio City when they had a skywriting going by, because they were trying to communicate to people down in the set during the show. They were trying to communicate to them, so they were skywriting across the top.
What did the skywrite say? You know, vote off John?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was like, we're keep going, don't quit, or something like that. I don't know.
Tell everybody about your family.
Do you like my cup?
I do like your cup. Is that an actual cup from the show?
Mm-hmm. It is a Legends of the Hidden Temple cup, and on the back is Stone Stanley Productions.
Tell us about your family.
Oh, my family. I have a great family. I have a wife and I have two sons. I have a 17-year-old son named Jack who's going to go to college next year. Oh my God, that's going to be great. And he just committed to University of Utah. We're not Mormon, but we're going to go to the University of Utah. So he ended up doing that, which is very exciting. And then I have a ninth grader who's named Luke. Jack is going to major in TV and film. And I think he's going to be great. I don't know if he's going to be an on-camera. He's a good-looking kid, but I don't know if he has that sort of drive to do it. But that could come later. I didn't really start wanting to be on doing that kind of thing until I was in my 20s. But, he communicates really well. He looks great. He might be a good producer.
Did you always live in LA? Because most of the Nickelodeon talent were picked locally. Were you a Floridian ever?
I don't think I'd ever been to Florida. I was actually living in Studio City, and I got an audition.
You traveled so far, Kirk. You've traveled so far.
Well, actually, no, it's not true. I have a very interesting path because I grew up in Southern California. I'm a third-generation Los Angelino. But I started my career. What I did was I graduated from college. I went to, you ever heard of Cal State Fullerton?
Of course.
Yeah. So I went to Cal State Fullerton right here. There's a toughie.
By the way, this is our fourth show on Hosts at Home. Best prop game so far goes to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And there's more, but we'll get more right after this. So anyway, I went from Cal State Fullerton. I tried to go to LA and try to make it in the business. And I swear the door was locked. I could not get in that door. That room was closed. So I tried to get in, I couldn't. So I went back to Orange County and I lived there and I bartended at a place called TGI Fridays, which was a great bar. And it taught me how to be a great bartender. And I became the #1 bartender there. And then my best friend and myself and this one other guy got an opportunity to go to Paris, France to open up the first American bar in Paris. So we flew over to Paris and we opened up this bar. We lived there for a year. It was awesome. And then I got offered another job to stay there to manage another kind of like a Hard Rock cafe in Paris. And I thought, I'm 25 years old. I'm going to get started in this acting business. I said I need to probably start, but I didn't want to go back to LA. So I flew to New York. And so that's where I started my career in New York. From there, I booked a lot of commercials and then I flew to LA And I started working and then never stopped working. So that brings us to that point where I got this job out of the blue to audition for a game show. And never had done a game show. And I was super excited about doing it, but I had no clue as to what that would entail. So I got there and they had me do a play-by-play action of somebody going through a temple. I didn't know what a temple was. I didn't even know what this was, but I had to pretend that Johnny was going through this temple. And the only thing I knew how to do as a kid is I used to do play-by-play with my brother for football games. We used to go, he got the ball. O.J. Simpson's got the ball to 25. He goes to the 25. He goes to 30, 35, 40. He's going to go all the way. He does. He's going to go all the way. Misses a tackle. Touchdown. So I did that kind of thing for the temple. Johnny's going through the temple. Oh, no. Temple guard. He gets going. He gets pulled off. He's going to keep going. I think he's going to do it. And then that's all I did. Like 45 seconds, and they booked me.
Did at first you think that it was going to be like giving people bar mitzvahs or things like that when you heard temple?
No, I hadn't. No, I did not think that at all. All I knew is that they flew me to Orlando, and it was unbelievably intense. The show was huge. I didn't realize how big the show was, and they didn't realize how big it was. They had booked this job through Nickelodeon without doing a pilot. So they were doing this on the fly. It was one of those things. Hey, oh yeah, we can do this. Oh yeah. And then they were trying to figure out how to do it. And how many, they had to go cross a moat thing. You had to do a Steps of Knowledge Jeopardy round. You had to do a Temple Games thing. And then you had to build this ginormous temple. And then they had me, and I didn't know how to host a show. So it was a really, really tough first year for me. Super tough.
Your first time hosting, but it was not your first time on a game show. 9 years prior, you do another show with Tom Kennedy. Can you tell everybody about that experience on Body Language?
Well, it was great because I was working at TGI Fridays and I decided I wanted to be on a game show. And I talked to a producer guy who told me, yeah, you could get on one of those things. They said, but don't tell them you're from California. Make up another place. So I went in and auditioned, or went in and met him, and I told him I was from Chicago.
He is our new challenger, and his name is Kirk what?
Fogg, F-O-G-G.
Okay, Kirk, introduce yourself, please.
Well, I'm originally from Chicago, and I'm out here traveling around the United States as a bartender.
But I told them I was a traveling bartender. So they loved it, and that weekend they had me on the show, and I ended up becoming champion of the day.
Did watching Tom and that experience playing the game help you out as a host later on?
No, because there was too much time going by. And I go, I wish I was doing Tom Kennedy's show as opposed to doing Legends of the Hidden Temple. It was just like, this was an action adventure show that was like no other show. So no, it was a learning curve. The producers of Legends knew I was having trouble trying to learn. So they gave me about this many videotapes of some of their shows. They gave me and said, look at these. This might help you. And I sat all night long looking at these videos going, oh yeah, this is how you do one of these kind of shows.
Before Legends of the Hidden Temple, they produced a kids game show called Funhouse. That was probably one of the ones you saw.
That was the show. That was the show, yeah, Funhouse. So I looked at J.D. Roth and I go, oh, this guy's smooth. He knows what he's doing. So I kind of modeled myself like a J.D. Roth type. I tried to get Mark Summers, but Mark Summers was no help.
That was going to be my next question. I was going to say.
He wasn't. He was no help. I go, how am I? I'm dying out here. And he's like, hey, good luck.
There are stories online, Kirk, that kids would be doing temple runs at midnight because the taping schedule was so crazy. Is there any truth to that?
Oh yeah, for sure. That first, actually the first episode that we did it took us, and then we only did one episode that first day. It took us, I think we finished at 11 or 12 o'clock at night. It was horrendous. We were so tired, and these poor kids, they had to drag them back out of the room because there's so many delays because we'd have breakdowns. It was like a Disney ride, all these breakdowns, that would occur. And so finally we'd have to bring the kids out, and they were so tired, and they'd had pizza 3 times waiting in the green room. And we brought them out and they did it. It was a miracle. We made it through that show.
The audience came from the theme park. Did you ever have audience members getting visibly angry because they feel like they wasted their money on park tickets and they're just in a studio all day?
It was like a Disney ride. They would bring him in every 20 minutes, sit him down. You get a 20-minute experience. It might be a show going on or it might be a lot of waiting around. Then they'd get up, go off, and then a new group would come in and sit down. You know what? You see these right here?
Yeah.
You see these right here? This guy from England painted those, and he contacted me, and he says, I have these things that I painted all the characters in the show. He goes, would you like them? And I was like, yeah, that's so great. And he sent them to me. Isn't that great? We got all the show. We got the red jaguars, the blue barracudas, the green monkeys, the orange iguanas, the purple parrots, and the silver snakes.
Tell everybody about that shirt.
Oh, this one right here? Well, I got it at Gap.
Yeah, that one is that Lacoste? What is that?
No, it's a Gap.
A Gap. Got it.
Yeah, it's a Gap. It's a standard, nice crew. It's a good thing. This shirt right here.
Yeah.
This one right here. This is the shirt that I wore on the Legends of the Hidden Temple movie that we remade.
Were you surprised when you got the call about a Legends of the Hidden Temple movie so many years after the show ended its run?
Well, I thought it was a gag or something, because they said, would you be willing to do a movie? And I was like, really? Who is this? Who is this? No, I go, no, really, they're going to do a movie. And I thought, that's so weird. Why are they doing you would think they're going to go back and do the show. I said, really, going to do the movie?
Nobody knows why. Some people say it was an accident. Others say the temple's cursed. It's been blocked off ever since.
One of the things about the temple runs, Kirk, that always freaked me out as a kid, you had this swamp, and it's like you purposely buried the temple guard underneath, so as soon as the kid would jump in, the temple guard would just jump up.
Whoa, temple guard just jumped up right in the swamp.
Did you ever have kids? Do you think you traumatized children at any
Yeah,
point?
we did. That was part of our goal, was to traumatize. We wanted it, there's a vicarious thrill you get out of at least a small bit of traumaing these kids. But one girl in particular, and I've told this story a few times, that she was in the pit of despair and she had a despairing moment and she just melted down in there, and then she threw up in the pit.
Did you ever run through the temple?
Every year I came back, I made sure I ran through the temple to see if I could do it. It meant a lot to me. I wanted to prove myself worthy. I think that's what it was.
Chuck Woolery told us on our last show that he has nothing from any show he was ever involved with, but clearly for you have a lot of different props. Talk about some of the other stuff you have in front of you.
I do. Well, I have I have a few of the hats. So I have the silver snakes, the purple parrots, the orange iguanas, and the red jaguars.
Have you been watching the reruns of the show? Because they're back on the air on Pluto TV.
I know, I just saw that. I'm going to probably watch them, yes.
Legends of the Hidden Temple coming back to not TV screens, but your phone via Quibi. We're keeping our fingers crossed because they've not announced the host yet.
They have not announced the host yet. Yeah, so, there's always hope.
It wouldn't be the same without you.
You get a pennant of life for that.
It really is, Kirk, a reboot generation. Game shows are more popular than ever. Are you watching any game shows that are on the air?
I watched a little bit of Let's Make a Deal because I was a big Monty Hall fan. Bob Eubanks was also somebody I looked up to when I was a kid, because I used to watch Newlywed Game all the time. I love the Newlywed Game. And I used to go to school the next day and do my Newlywed thing. I'd say, Bob and Sally, you've got 25 points. 25 more, we'll give you 50. If you get this question right, you'll be our grand prize winner tonight.
Caller number one, Danny and Tammy with 1525. I'll give you 40, Danny. If you get it right, you're going to win a grand prize selected especially for you and your wife. If you miss it, you go home in third place. What is your answer?
When you're not here on Hosts at Home talking about your legacy, what are you up to?
I build houses. So I'm one of those house flippers. And I'm still trying to figure out why somebody hasn't called me and try to do a show called, Legends of the, something house.
The Hidden House.
Legend of the Hidden House. So that's what I've been doing. I'm a house flipper.
We have been chatting with Kirk Fogg, and now Richard. Richard, you're here to tell us who's on the show next week.
Next time on Hosts at Home, no laugh track needed. This funny lady, known for her work on sitcoms like Reba and Young Sheldon, has also done her fair share of hosting. From shows like The Singing Bee, Bet on Your Baby, and Punchline, Melissa Peterman joins us. Back over to you, Adam.
Sounds like another great show. We can't wait for that. Thanks, Richard. By the way, thanks to the magic of editing, A subscribe button is on your screen right now. That's a friendly reminder to please click that button on our Hosts at Home YouTube channel and show us some love. Kirk Fogg has been our guest today on Hosts at Home. By now, you guys at home know I don't close the show. Kirk Fogg, over to you.
Thank you very much. And Adam, you made it. You got it all. And that's right. You're not going to go away empty-handed. You're going to go away with a very nice little Shrine of the Silver pin set for you. That's right. You're going to take that with you, but we've got to go now. It's been another great show. We'll see you again next time on another great Legend of the Hidden Temple. Bye-bye.